Chau fires 6,000. And Barry folds.
You know you have a king.
I had ace-4. I think my 4 was good on the river.
Well, here, I think I'm playing tight. That's the
You are playing tight. Look, you're playing the nuts. That's all you play.
2 in a row for Chau.
King deuce, baby. It's calm. That's straddle good, man.
Now let's start playing.
Hey, Troy.
Yeah.
I know you can rap. Let's hear something. Let's get it pumped up in here.
Oh.
Come on, don't be shy.
Rap about how you're going to double straddle this hand.
I double straddle, jump on like a saddle, put my money in there, don't be a baby with a rattle. I'm the man, freestyle, the top of the head, north side, 1,000 block. You heard what I said.
All right.
Pretty good.
Yay!
Pretty good.
You can straddle for 1,200. You don't have to make a 6.
That's pretty good for a guy being stuck and doing it.
Yeah, right. If I was up, I'd already be rapping.
We're trying to get him in a good mood, you know?
I'm in a good mood. I can't be all,
Poker player needs chips to be in a good mood.
I'm trying to be impressionable, or whatever you call it at the table, but can't do a lot of talking when you ain't catching a lot of hands, You got to think a little bit. Try to outplay these fish.
You think Troy's life story would be called Pocket 8 Mile?
Eminem's coming up next week. Viffer is raised to 2,500.
2 double ups, you'll get 1.
Suited connectors for Chau, who's on a winning streak in the big blind, but he gets rid of it.
Decides to tighten up again.
I just want you to know I'm too dumb to fold. I'm going to defend my straddle every time.
Good news.
Just so you know. So if you think you're just going to move me off of it, pick another player.
Viffer does not want to move Rahim off.
The flop misses both.
Don't tell me that's a king. Okay.
Rick checks. Viffer checks. Trey on the turn, which would have given Chau a straight.
Rahim's picked up a gut shot.
Go ahead. I'm going to check raise.
Rick checks.
Viffer's ace high is still the best hand.
He fires 3,000.
You need to come from behind, sir.
Rick calls.
You got me beat?
Last night, Rick folded an open ender and an overcard. Now he's calling with just a gut shot.
The river, 7 of diamonds.
Go ahead. I dare you to bet.
Rick checks.
Okay, I check.
Nah, you still win. I got 10 high. I had a lot of outs. None of them came.
All Rick's talking doesn't seem to be doing him any favors.
In the meantime, Viffer adds more cash to his kitty.
And the stats show that after 36 hands, he's at or close to the top in all these categories. Viffer's VPIP shows that he is getting involved in over half the hands. He's raised pre-flop 25% of the time, and he's won a staggering 83% of his showdowns. 3
huge reasons why Viffer is up nearly 70 grand.
Now you can straddle for 8. It's cheap.
Here's what I'll do. For the great rap, I'll give you a free roll on the straddle.
Now you can double straddle for 16.
Now you can straddle.
I mean, I give one free roll.
9s for Viffer.
And I'll take that. I'm not like him. I'll take that.
You're not like, what's that
No,
about?
him.
Oh, okay.
He said Barry said he wouldn't take the straddle.
Raised to 2,500. Pocket queens for Antonio.
Last night, Antonio mentioned a fear of commitment. Let's see how he handles these ladies.
A re-raise to 9,500.
Oh, come on, I was calling 2,500.
9,500 is the bet.
Oh, man. I was calling 2,500.
All right.
Rahim folds. The loose cannon.
Deuces are better in here.
Pot it.
Straddled his hand. But he's not going to stick.
You have a lot of money, right?
Both players are deep stacked enough that Viffer's got the right implied odds to call.
And he does. Come on, Antonio. This is exciting. Stay up for it. It's pair versus pair.
I knew you were calling. I would have called.
4, queen, 4. Antonio flops a full house, but the action starts with Viffer. He checks.
Board may not look too scary to Viffer, but he's going to check to the razor.
Antonio fires 14 grand.
14,000.
Antonio's trying to build a pot and wants to make this look like a continuation bet, but it is a very big bet. So Viffer may read this as complete confidence from Antonio, especially since there was the re-raise pre-flop. Viffer has to decide if maybe his 9s were no good to begin with.
Good laydown.
A little misdirection with a smaller bet may have built a bigger pot for the magician.
Despite that, Antonio does pick up some cash. Viffer avoids some real trouble there, and as usual, Antonio does well with the ladies. We are coming back to Las Vegas for much more of the big game right after this.
Welcome back. Do you want a chance to be a loose cannon and win that NAPT passport? Log on to PokerStars.net. There are free qualifying tournaments every day. Now let's get back to the action.
Quick reminder, you'll also be able to find stats for every hand of this table, as well as bonus footage and clips deemed too hot for TV on the website. Hand 40 out of 150, Esfandiari calls with a pocket pair. Schau folds. Rick Rahim's in. The loose cannon on the button, trying to kick it into gear. Let's see what he's got. That'd be not much.
You can't win if you don't play, man.
And it's not even good enough.
Rick's got a point, but he's playing them all, and he's losing more than Troy is.
4 players to the flop as Viffer called and Barry checked. Trey 6 deuce.
Barry Greenstein flops the nut straight.
Viffer checks, Barry checks. Esfandiari bets 2,000.
Antonio's got a pair and a gut shot.
Rahim's out of here.
Viffer's got top pair.
He calls. And Barry just calls.
With this flop, there isn't much of a chance of someone drawing out on Barry, so he's going to slow play the nuts.
7 of hearts on the turn. It goes check, check.
Does put some bigger draws out there.
Esfandiari bets 5,600.
5,600.
Viffer folds.
Barry's still got the nuts, but if Antonio is drawing, Barry's going to want to make him pay.
Greenstein raises to 15,000.
Barry's raising, hoping whatever Antonio let out with was good enough to call with. Antonio may see through this, though, since Barry overcalled the flop. A veritable blank hit on the turn, and now Barry's check raising. These are all very strong moves. Both of which may be too strong moves for Antonio to call with just a pair and a gut shot.
And Antonio does fold. So a decent-sized pot picked up by Barry Greenstein.
Given what Antonio was holding, I think Barry got pretty close to max value on that hand. Must be because of his lucky cufflinks.
Or perhaps because of Antonio's unlucky red shirt.
His unlucky chest hair.
We're back to the grooming kit now, huh?
I don't think
Chau
you can do that.
straddles to 800.
Yeah.
Rick Rahim makes it a double straddle, so the action begins on the loose cannon.
I can straddle for more.
Troy folds.
Troy's getting visibly frustrated.
Suited connectors for Viffer, who raises to 5,100, and pocket rockets for Barry.
With all the straddling and re-straddling, Barry will get to play a bigger pot with these aces.
Re-raises to 16-2.
1,200.
Action folds around to the double straddler.
I was calling your 5,000 without hesitation with these cards.
Rick folds. So now back to Viffer.
7-6 suited is one of the best hands mathematically for trying to snap off big pocket pairs, but with so much pre-flop action, effective stack sizes have been lowered, and he actually has worse odds to call.
Viffer does fold.
Barry manages to pick up a nice little pot without even having to see a flop, thanks to the straddle and the double straddle.
Well, that pot puts Barry up nearly $35,000, and Joe, he's starting to get things going.
While Barry is just 4th at the table in pre-flop raising, you can see that he's using his position extremely well when he decides to raise. Barry is at or near the top when it comes to his button and check raising numbers, just as he did there. Barry's play is somewhat predictable, but is nevertheless still very difficult to combat.
Rahim is straddled, so the action begins with the loose cannon who folds. Viffer raised to 2,500.
No.
Action folds around to Chau Giang. King Trey suited. Folds. Rick calls.
Easy to look like I'm slowing down when I ain't caught a card in an hour.
Hard to catch cards.
Believe me, when
You only get 2 and they have to be good, you know?
They have to be over a 5, though.
The flop, 7, queen, 7. Rick checks.
Have you looked yet?
Oh, I could easily have a 7, man.
All right.
Viffer checks top pair.
For all we know, I could have queen 7.
Queen 7 would be good.
Rahim's now turned to pair. With Viffer checking the flop, he might think it's the best hand.
This is the patented Greenstein move.
5,500.
Rick fires 5,500.
Greenstein, not to be confused with Greenstein. Totally different guy.
Viffer calls. The river,
Kind of like your hand, you always seem to get the best of me.
deuce of hearts.
Did you raise me with 7 deuce?
Rahim's still reaching for chips with the worst of it.
Makes it 8,000.
Now you have a hand.
It's a defense bet.
All right. See, this is a bad call, actually. I think you have me, but I probably have the best hand.
Yeah, it is. I got a jack.
It's a good call.
You got a queen, you win. Good hand. I can't beat you. I don't know why I try.
Nobody can beat the Viffer. The only person that can beat the Viffer is Viffer himself.
Well, also, Rahim just value bet a hand that will